There's nothing better in life than something that completely defies your expectations. Think about it. If you're expecting anything to be bad, or at least not too great, and it turns out to be fantastic, then you get a real nice surprise, and that type of joy is underrated in life. Now, if you expect something to be great, and it turns out to be a heaping pile of shit squeezed out of the bowels of Satan himself, sure, you might be disappointed, but life disappoints me every day, and so I'm kinda used to it. The bright side of being disappointed is that you get the joy of yeeting whatever disappointed you into the trash, unless it wasn't a tangible object that disappointed you. In that case, sorry. Need a hug? In my case, I approached the Lexus GT3 car with the same precaution and extremely low expectations as I would for a roller coaster at a county fair. You know, I've sort of come to accept that I really only like mid-engine cars. Front engine just kind of, it doesn't do it for me. Usually a front engine car has a lot of understeer, a lot of power oversteer, and generally the driving style that makes a front engine car go quick is almost exactly opposite to mine. And I don't know if you knew this, but going quickly is fairly important, unless you ram everyone out of the way at turn 1. Before this, I had only tried the Lexus once. It was at Suzuka like 5 or 6 months ago, and I vividly remember the Lexus having copious amounts of understeer. But, good lord, did it sound amazing. The engine whine, the shifts, everything sounded fantastic. Though that was the end of my memory. I revisited the Lexus yesterday so I could write this video, and my first impression? Well, yo mama is so fat. She could be the A-pillar on the Lexus. I swear to God, the A-pillar on this car is wider than the North American continent. It never fails to be just in the right spot to block your view of the corner's apex. It's perfectly, mildly infuriating. But after a couple laps, you kind of do get used to it, and it really isn't that bad. When I think of the crazy amount of understeer back from when I first tried this car, I'm kind of now thinking I'm an idiot. This thing does have a little bit of understeer, as all front-engine cars do, but this is one of the most mid-engine-like front-engine car I've ever driven. You can utilize more of a mid-engine driving style and not be severely punished for it. The Lexus for me doesn't enjoy trail braking as much as I expected it to, but you can really throw it into corners and it does stick. This thing is so stable in mid-corner, it's making me want to think about giving up on maining the Ferrari. I'm serious. The straight line speed is fantastic on it, and acceleration kinda isn't that great, but it's not bad by any means. And don't get me started on how good it is in the wet. Oh my good lord, if you thought the Porsche was OP in the dry, which it is, Kunos has confirmed they're nerfing the Porsche in the next patch, you should see the Lexus in the wet. Almost nothing touches this thing. The reason the Lexus is so good in the rain is because it has extra weight on its front axle, more so than other front-engine cars, meaning the front has a bit more grip than every other car. Let me give you an example. I recently had a league race at Zolder with medium rain. I was in the GTR, which is fairly strong in the wet. I went into it expecting all the front engine cars to gravitate towards the front of the grid, as that engine placement provides a bit of extra weight on that front axle to help give them a bit more grip. I don't know where the hell the Lexus gets even more weight, but it somehow does, and let me tell you, there were 2 Lexuses at the front of the field, and they were comfortably faster than me in the race, and I qualified on pole. Halfway through the first stint, I was P2 and the Lexus was in P1, and that Lexus was at least 5/10ths quicker than I was per lap. Yeah, that guy finished over 20 seconds in front of me at the end of the race. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for the Lexus. It may be a very strong car in the dry, and borderline OP in the wet, but good God, it has absolutely horrible tire wear in the dry. If you watch any endurance race in ACC, you'll very likely see extremely few to no Lexuses at all because of this. I've had people tell me that the tires fall off after 10 minutes, which is roughly 4 or 5 laps depending on the track. If you ever so slightly slide the car, you just lost more tire life than an Audi will lose over the course of an hour stint. Okay, that last example might be a bit exaggerated, but you get the point. The tire wear isn't great, but let's say you're wanting to branch out and experiment with hot local scene. Try out some cars you haven't really tried before. The Lexus isn't something I'd recommend to absolutely everybody, but it is a very strong and capable car that does need a bit of finesse to get working properly. With a very stable aero balance, it makes cornering not make you think you're dying every time, and it has some good straight line speed to hopefully keep you alive at Monza. Overall, I'd say give it a shot. It's not bad. Mid-engine cars can still have my babies though.